This is Linux in Laws, a podcast on topics around free and open source software, any associated contraband, communism, the revolution in general, and whatever else fancies your tickle. Please note that this and other episodes may contain strong language, offensive humor, and other certainly not politically correct language. You have been warned. Our parents insisted on this disclaimer. Happy, Mum? Thus, the content is not suitable for consumption in the workplace, especially when played back on a speaker in an open plan office or similar environments. Any minors under the age of 35, or any pets, including fluffy little killer bunnies, your trusted guide dog, unless on speed, and cute T-Rexes or other associated dinosaurs.
This is Linux in Laws, Season 1, Episode maybe 97 or something.
Impromptu episode.
Yes, impromptu episode. Full disclosure, Martin is actually visiting Frankfurt, and we're doing this right in front of my local bakery here in the family ghetto.
Café König.
Yes, that's the one. So as you can hear in the sound quality, with regards to the background noise, we do apologize for this, but this is, as I said, a live recording right in front of the local bakery. So and the proprietors are just sitting there having a smoke, and we're recording a podcast episode. Exactly. Of course, as usual, this is not something written or scripted or whatever. No, it's just impromptu.
So, Chris,
Martin.
Since we are in the heart of open source Germany here,
Are we? Fair enough.
well, judging by your T-shirt at least.
There's no video, so anyway, it doesn't matter.
Fair enough. Anyway, for reference, Chris's T-shirt says FOSDEM with the second interpretation.
Yes, as in fuck obsolete software, but done by evil monopolies. The original Foster meaning, yes.
Talking about evil monopolies, should we mention Jeff?
We can if you want to.
Well,
Jeff Bezos, if you're listening, Martin had this grand vision of you buying us. So.
No. We were actually having a discussion about Postgres on the cloud just now, actually, weren't we?
Indeed.
And I was arguing the fact that everybody who goes to the public cloud is going to use Amazon's native service or Google's or Microsoft's, right? But you see some future in other Postgres vendors.
Well, I mean, the cloud is a fad anyway, no?
Well, the cloud in the UK is actually melted yesterday, so both Google and Oracle Cloud had outages because the cooling broke down.
Okay.
So we had to shut down a bunch of servers.
I see.
Yes. So,
I mean, clouds are, even in Germany, we're recording this on the 23rd of July, something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, clouds are rare these days in Europe anyway, never mind the kingdom or not.
Yes. Well, you say that, but there is some rain coming tonight, maybe tomorrow.
In the UK?
Yeah, many thunderstorms. So
Okay.
we shall see. We may have some more. Anyway, so
Welcome to the weather podcast.
You're going back to the original question. Have these public cloud vendors killed FLOSS?
Open source? Good question. Not yet anyway.
Okay.
But the revolution still lives on, no?
Are they going to?
Well, no, I reckon. For the simple reason, I mean, innovation happens at these cloud vendors, but innovation also happens on GitHub and in the basement of people and stuff.
At universities, yes.
At universities, yes.
Very true.
At the very heart of communism, although this went out of fashion, I reckon, in kind of late February of this year, but that's a totally different subject.
Yes, that's probably not the thing to discuss.
Indeed.
Well, actually, we did.
So
we did briefly debate whether we should have any political podcasting views, but we decided not to.
Yes, exactly.
Obvious reasons. Since we're not a political podcast.
Indeed.
Except when it comes down to software.
Yes, correct. But we're still explicit, though.
We are, yes.
And that people won't change, I hope.
So, and why do you think that will be? Because people will keep innovating.
Well, I mean, that's the very nature of open source software, no?
running some, what was it, acai on your MacBook?
Well, we are recording this, as a matter of fact, yes, on a very discounted MacBook Air, running a bootloader called OS X. No, I mean, it's simple. If you don't like something, you take the source code and do something with it. And then it's down to the licensing on if you have to publish this or not. So this is innovation at its core.
Yeah. Yes. How many people are there out there? We had this debate before, right? That go ahead and put OpenWRT on their routers, right?
I know at least one.
I know one as well. They kind of stop stairs.
No, as a matter of fact, I know. Do you know what Freifunk is?
Freifunk, is that not a radio station?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's a mesh network of free and open access points.
Okay.
So if you do some war driving or something like this, you'll see, depending on the location you're in.
And is that driven by OpenWRT?
Yes, and they run their own and they run their own images based on OpenWRT.
Yeah.
So if you have a router sitting at home, if you have some bandwidth to spare, and yes, links will be in the show notes. So people, if you're living in Germany, feel free, and if you have some bandwidth to spare, feel free to participate in freifunk.net. As I said, the links will be in the show notes.
Okay.
And all of them. So you buy a router, you have some spare capacity.
Yeah.
Essentially, you're setting up something similar to a guest Wi-Fi, which is then out in the public.
Yes.
And that will be done via a router running OpenWRT, essentially.
So the first question that a user of this will have is, can I limit the usage?
Of course you can.
Okay.
This is your hardware. This is your access point, right?
Yeah.
So, but the point is that they're all running OpenWRT.
Yeah,
rolled up in their own images.
In terms of adoption, you want, obviously people don't want their neighbours to use up all their bandwidth, kind of stuff.
No, you can limit this, of course. Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's question one.
And Martin. Okay, I'm using a MacBook to record this, or we're using a MacBook to record this, but you have two iPhones sitting right in front of you, which essentially at the very core are also based on open source software, something called a microkernel, running a microkernel very similar to Mark, or close to Mark, and a FreeBSD personality stripped, of course, on top of that. Mm-hmm. This is what an iPhone essentially is. This is what iOS at its very core is. Sure. Same goes for OS X.
Yes. Okay, so are we saying that Apple are contributing back to BSD?
Does LLVM ring a bell? Or CLang?
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't say they are funding the majority of the implementation work, but some of their core contributors work at Apple.
Mm-hmm. No, these are important things to highlight then. Really.
Richard, if you're listening, this is competition.
Richard?
Yeah, Richard M. Stallman. GNU? Rings a bell? Sorry. We have to cut this out probably. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yes.
It's okay.
There's a competing Compiler collection. Yes. Exactly.
We are, after all, in a cafe.
Oh, just in front of it. Yes.
Yes. It is really too warm inside a cafe. Okay. So, you think that the future of open source is healthy and...
Well, I wouldn't say it couldn't be improved, but
okay.
I reckon on a grand scale, it's okay for the time being.
Okay, name the biggest improvement point you can see.
People. In terms of more people contributing to the cause. This is of course me, just a talking communist at the very core.
Okay, how would we go about this?
Doing a podcast, spreading the word, right, Martin? Simple as that.
Okay, yeah.
If that makes any sense for the last 2.5 years.
That was indeed the plan for it. But, yeah.
Okay. Shameless piece of self-marketing, of course, implied.
Yes, just a bit. No, but you're right. This is why we started the podcast in the first place, right? So.
About 2.5 years ago, yes.
Sehr gut. Yes. Okay. Now then, on the second topic.
Where is Martin's German going? Exactly. Martin had the beautiful opportunity just to try out his German just in front of the local bakery. He ordered a raisin bun with cheese.
This is not the second question.
So people, if you're looking for a flourishing market, just go for raisin buns and cheese, because that's apparently
there'll be change sprouting up any minute.
exactly, because that seems to be a local Dutch speciality, and the local bakery was quite impressed with that. It's a niche market, but
going to put it in the window anytime
exactly. But we are digressing, of course.
Swiftly followed by the coffee with cheese in it.
Anyway. Probably not. Anyway, okay. Sorry. Your second question was.
Your second question was: now that you are retired,
am I?
will you be spending more time contributing to open source projects?
Well, it depends on the project, right? Ken, if you're listening,
yes.
The automation workflow won't be on GitHub anytime soon, so don't worry about it. But okay, shameless plug again. HPR are redoing their website as a Hacker Public Radio, so they are still looking for contributors. So if you have a couple of spare cycles to spend, like I am thinking about the API design implementation, just reach out to the mailing list and volunteer.
The design is yet to be finalized, though, isn't it?
Well, the design is on that GitLab instance, Ken, that kind of vanished. I do have a backup, Martin. Yes, that remains to be found.
Okay, glad to hear it.
Somewhere, anyway.
Somewhere on one of your mini laptops.
Yes, indeed, somewhere.
All right, fair enough. No, it's a good. HPR is a good example, right, of an organisation that uses open source tools to put a whole infrastructure together for the greater good.
I mean, it's pretty much like many other projects. It's run on a shoestring budget, right?
By two guys. Yeah.
By two guys. Rings a bell?
Ken and Dave.
You see, if you wouldn't keep firing all these departments, Martin, we would have a much bigger organization ourselves.
I see. Yes. No, we don't need departments. We just need more hats, right? So
hats.
You currently only have one hat.
Correct. Yes. As a matter of fact, it's red, but that's a shameless plug. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
And it doesn't say anything else, but there we go.
No, it's not an open source hat. No.
We don't
but
have,
anyway, it doesn't matter.
We don't have hats in the shop, do we?
We don't. No, we only have T-shirts.
T-shirt. Yes. Okay. Yes. So
we were at that second question.
Yes, we were. Yes. So which projects are you going to be
contributing? I do not know.
Well, which ones do you feel are in need of?
Well, there's still the stats thing.
The stats.
I started to visualize this, as you know.
Oh, the stats.
Yes, this whole thing goes back to the debate with Hacker Public Radio if stats are anything to go by or not. If you want to know the details, listen to the shows.
Yes.
Including the rebuttal of the rebuttal of the rebuttal of the rebuttal.
to be continued. Yeah.
Exactly. No, Ken, it's all good. And Dave, if you're listening, full credit to you, hasn't really changed, and we do love you. Very important.
Including your washing machine, yes.
Yes, or the two of them. Recording community news in a laundrette might not be the best environment, but let's not worry about this for the time being anyway. We're just slagging.
It was a valid, I think, way to communicate.
Sounds fine to me.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's the end of that impromptu episode. People, thanks for listening.
This is the Linux In-Laws.
You come for the knowledge,
but stay for the madness.
Thank you for listening.
This podcast is licensed under the latest version of the Creative Commons license, type Attribution Share Alike. Credits for the intro music go to Blue Sea Roosters for their song Solid Market, to Twin Flames for their piece called The Flow, used for the segment intros, and finally to Celestial Ground for their song Sweet Justice, used by the Dark Side. You find these and other ditties licensed under CC at Jamendo, a website dedicated to liberate the music industry from choking copyright legislation and other crap concepts.